All right.
Hmm. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 28 of the MMAHOLICS podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon or whenever you're catching this on this beautiful day. How you doing, Nikki? You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Got my leg beat up last night at Muay Thai class. Got a big old grape welt on my shin.
hmm Honestly, talk about that. Like, how's that transition been? Like, getting to
It's
like, I
good.
can take
It's
your kids and
hard, dude. It's hard. I can't lie. I thought jujitsu was gonna be tough, but Muay Thai is like insanely hard and
Mhm.
beat up your body. My foot every other day, my foot is hurting because you just like when you're a beginner, there's like so many little things you do wrong in sports and like just
Right.
landing your kick in the wrong place. Like you hit the your instep on like the bag or on someone's leg and it's just like hurts, but you're trying to push through class. But it's fun, dude. It's addicting. Very addicting. Uh
hmm
my goal right now is just to get that blue belt, that's the big thing right now, no
hmm
matter how long it takes.
Right, of course, man. And like, yo, just know like it's gonna be a journey for sure. Like you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have I'm saying that like I train. I'm just saying that, with the natural progression of life, if you practice any craft, anything like that, you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. And you're gonna see how good like a lot of these people are around the world. You feel me? When you're trying to chase something. Well, who knows? Well, who knows how far you might go with it. You feel me? You might just go from training to fighting, you feel me? So you definitely, just keep at it and it's good. It's definitely good exercise to get every week. You feel me? So, definitely keep that up. And like, and honestly, last thing I will say, it does build discipline. So, definitely keep at that, man. Like, I feel like that's a good construct, like, a good craft to have on the side, especially keeping yourself, in shape like that for sure.
Yeah, it's addicting. I'll tell you that much. Like I can't like wait to get to the next class. Sometimes I hate when there's an intermediate class after the beginner class, and I got to go home because I'm not ready for the intermediate. Like that sucks. I wish I could train for like hours every day. But
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome, bro. Like, I'm glad you're really into it for real.
yeah,
But yeah, today we're just gonna go over the divisions. You feel me? Do some divisional talk. Who we think might be the champions by the end of the year. Obviously, as we record this, it's August 28th, 2024. So we got August, September, October, November, December, and January. So we got 5 more months for 2024. So definitely want to see how the landscape of the Ultimate Fighting Championship is going to change. Um, Got a lot of good fights coming up, obviously. Like we just did on Monday on our last podcast, episode 27. Y'all can go watch that as well. It's still very relevant to this podcast as well, where we discussed like, the next three pay-per-views, 306, 307, and 308. We also gave some love to that John Jones conversation, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, today we were just going to talk about who we think will be the champion. So we can go ahead and pull up the divisions at the moment. And you guys already know what to do. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to put any comment in the chat. We always love having the discussions back and forth. It's always respectful, of course. It's sports talk at the end of the day, and it's really hard to come to an agreement over sports. With all these different opinions always going around. So yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and start from the very, very bottom. Of course, go ahead and give the ladies some love. Obviously, we're gonna have to start in the straw weight division, and yeah, man, I think this division, like, it's kind of, I don't want to say like stalling out, but I think ever since Rose left, it did kind of take a big chunk out of it. I think that even Rose Namajunas knows that if she would have stayed in the strawweight division. Like, these two fights that she just won, if that would have been at strawweight, she'd be fighting for the belt right now, especially having two wins over the current champion, Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili never avenged those losses. So I think, especially knowing Weili in her mindset, I definitely think she'd like to take that fight and climb that mountain. Especially knowing like it was like both fights were really good. It was two high level strikers with amazing footwork and amazing power. And yeah, man, like that era of like the strawweight division was probably my favorite from UFC 261 to UFC 268. Yeah. They fought at 261 and they fought at 268. It was back to back. I remember like on 261, like that was the Jorge Masvidal and Usman card when Usman had knocked him out. I remember like, that fight was such a big deal that like Valentina was like fighting on that. She was fighting Jessica Andrade, and they put them as the co-main event, and they were the lower weight class because that's how big of a fight it was. Of course, we all saw how it ended. Rose would knock out Wei Li in the first round with a head kick, but I only bring all that up to say like I do think the division did take a hit when Rose left, of course. But we still got some good fighters in here, of course. Like Yan Xiaonan, Marina Rodriguez. Jessica Andrade. She's still here. How do you feel about the division at the moment? Like, what do you think might happen? Like with the contenders?
There's a few options for like title shots. Wei Li needs to fight. I mean, she hasn't fought since 300. I'm surprised we haven't got her booked for later in the year, but I think she'll probably be on like 309 or 310. I think it's got to be against Tatiana Suarez. Like, she's 10-0. She's like the number one prospect. I mean, she's beat Grasso. She's beat. She just had that guillotine choke, and was it round 1 or 2 against Andrade? And I thought Andrade was going to win that one because Andrade was kind of like picking it up again, and then she got beat. So I think the definite fight to make is Tatiana Suarez in a title fight there. Yeah, and they could do it as a co-main. I mean, they like to do the women's fight as a co-main under the main. The only time they get main event fights anymore, it seems, is in Canada, right?
Canada, probably fight nights or something like that.
Yeah, or a fight night. So it's like, and then people complain about it. So it's better that they put it as a co-main, especially with Wei Li, because she puts on good fights. That fight against Xiaonan was really good. Like, it was like not what everyone expected it to be. So, and that's all you want in the fight, and keep the fans surprised. So I think that's the fight to make in that division.
Of course.
For like later in the year, though, I still think Wei Li finishes the year as the champion.
I think that's the fight that everybody wants right now. As I even look at the rankings, Tatiana Suarez is literally the number one contender. Yeah. I think they've been dying to give her a title shot. It's unfortunate, for Suarez. We know it's her health has always been an issue for her. She could have fought for the belt back in 2018. That's good. She has been for such a long time. She was ranked number 3 in the strawweight division before they took her ranking away, and they let her keep that number 3 ranking for like 2.5 years before they even took it from her, because they knew she was really, and she was out for another 2 years after that. So they knew she was really about to be out for a really long time. But that's the fight I do want to see the most. I think it's the hardest fight for Zhang Weili at the moment. Suarez is still only 33 years old, you feel me? So there's so much time that she lost to the injury, and at least right now, and I get it, I just mentioned injuries, but fight-wise, she has not taken a lot of damage at all. For those that don't know, they're always calling Tatiana Suarez the female Khabib. Due to her wrestling style. She knows about it. She's honored by it, but she's, of course, always gives respect to the eagle. But I do think she is like that. I think the wrestling's going to be extremely hard for Wei Li to deal with. The constant pressure, the constant chaining, and the aggression. Really, 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 really headstrong woman. Not going to show her any fear when she steps in there with her. I know she's only 10-0 for undefeated, but anytime the UFC has given her a test, she's passed it. When she finished Jessica Andrade in the second round, Montana De La Rosa in the second round, like all these girls she's finishing, it's pretty crazy. And yeah, man, she's 7-0 inside the UFC, and I still want to see that fight happen. If it doesn't happen, if I had to give her like a contender right now, I think Verna Jandiroba at 1,000% should get a title shot. I think she's finally earned it, especially with how she finished Marina Rodriguez in her last fight. No, that was Amanda Lemos, but she did beat Marina Rodriguez though by decision, and she finished Amanda Lemos, something that Zhang Weili couldn't even do. And Weili had her on the ground like for 25 minutes, So to see that happen, I do think that Verna is really turning a corner right now. And she's a good fighter too. She's 21-3. Like, she's always been a good fighter. I just think Like, obviously with her vision, I think a lot of people try to like, crack jokes and stuff like that. But it was cool to see her really come alive in that post-fight press conference and like really get a chance to show her personality. That was really cool. Especially when she started talking English a little bit. I really did enjoy that for Verna Jandiroba. I like for every fighter to get the spotlight. Like, that's the incentive about the UFC. If you win, you get a chance to tell your story, and your story can bring you more money. So, yeah, like if I had to give the title shot to someone, I do think that Verna Jandiroba should get the title shot. I mean, man, I think she's like literally on like a 5-5 win streak.
She beat Loopy. She beat
Yeah,
Lemos.
yeah. Marina, Angela Hill, like Lupita Godinez, like, she lost to Amanda Ribas. Of course, that was 3 years ago. I think if they rematch right now, I would pick Jandiroba to beat her in a rematch. I love Amanda Ribas, I don't like ever picking against her. On a side note, we know that she's fighting Mackenzie Dern, and that's going to be, in a rematch, like, of the first fight, of course, after Mackenzie had a baby. She was fresh off a baby, and that's going to be heartbreaking to see one of them have to take a loss. But yeah, but to finish off with the division, you can make the case that Wei Li might end the year as the champion. But if Suarez gets the title shot, I do think she can beat her. Just off like the wrestling pressure, like the takedowns, and not just like trying to get her down and hold her down. She could get her down and damn near choke her out. It would just depend, like, because Wei Li's obviously extremely physically strong. If she can pick up Francis Ngannou like that, even if they were standing still, best believe it, she's very physically strong. Absolutely. So, yeah, like we're gonna see what happens though. If I had to put money on it though, I think it's gonna be Wei Li or Suarez by the end of the year. And yeah, moving on to the flyweight division. Obviously, we're about to get a title fight in the next few weeks or so at the UFC Noche Sphere card Riyadh season. I'll be quite honest. When they had the rematch at the last Noche UFC, it's cool that they're making that a thing now, year by year, like an international fight weekend, like a Madison Square Garden card. But I did think that Valentina Shevchenko took it at the Noche UFC. I kind of like, and not just to like be a fan or whatever, like I do agree with her during her post-fight press conference when she said the only reason they didn't take it from Grasso was because like they knew the crowd would probably have killed the security. If y'all remember that UFC Mexico City card with Yair Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens, right when it was canceled after a 15-second eye poke, the Mexicans, like, not, of course, it's just, what happened in the arena. That's not nothing against like the race of people. They started throwing alcohol into the cage. Like it was actually raining down onto the fighters and stuff like that. So you can imagine if they would have stripped the belt off a Mexican chin, like especially in a close fight where Grasso arguably really could have won it, and then you take it from her. Oh, that would have been a recipe for disaster in that T-Mobile arena. So it's pretty funny. They're running it right back on Mexican Independence Day. In my opinion, the writing was on the wall when they pushed them to the side for the Ultimate Fighter. I was like, right then and there, I was like, they're gonna sideline them for a year and let them do the fight again, But before I get to my pick, how do you feel about the flyweight division thus far?
I think it's a little stuck right now because they definitely have this rivalry at the top of the division with Grasso and Shevchenko, and this could easily get dragged on to more than 3 fights. This could turn into like Figueiredo and Moreno easily. Like if Shevchenko wins and if it's split, there's no reason why Grasso doesn't deserve a fight back. You know what I mean? And I have to honestly disagree, like respectfully. I think Shevchenko sold the fight. I think she had it in the bag. And I'm pretty sure she went for a takedown or something. She had the fight won and she messed it up, just like Urseg did. Just lost the fight in the 5th round to the judges. You can never give the fight to the judges and like wholeheartedly in a close fight and wholeheartedly say you won. That's just how it goes, in my opinion. Other than that, it's got to be one of them as the champion ending the year. There's just not going to be another fight happening. If Grasso wins this and she puts the rivalry behind her, she's very free to go challenge Wei Li. That could even be something.
Okay.
People wouldn't be mad at that. We were supposed to see that on I think 300 that was rumored. Grasso has a good resume, man. You got to respect it. Shevchenko has a great resume too. If Shevchenko wins the belt, she could retire. You know, she could retire with the belt if she wants to. She doesn't have to defend it anymore. She's done that. But yeah, like honestly, there's like this is one of those things you can't look past. Like you can't look at other contenders, especially with like the state of this fight. Like I said, if Shevchenko wins, Grasso can get that fight back. I don't see why. Like they have a rivalry. They could sell. I think that's the one women fight that could sell a pay-per-view at the top of the card right now in the UFC. They're both really big draws. They have their huge fan bases behind them. There's definitely good contenders, but it's not like they're old and retiring. I mean, you got Manon, you got Erin Blanchfield,
Right.
Rose is still trying to get back up there.
Right.
You got a few people. So Tracy Cortez, people really like. So yeah, Casey O'Neill looked really good in her last fight. So yeah, I just say don't look past this fight with this division because going into next year, it's going to be one of them. I don't think there's going to be another fight in the division past this one this year.
Okay. Nah, man, you made some good points. You know, like it was 2-2 going into the 5th round, you know, and I thought Valentina was piecing her up, you know, until like, you know, she got, I think that thing it was a takedown on Grasso's part, and then she got her down, and then she just started to ground and pound, and it was like a minute 30 left, and then like, you know, and then they call it a 10-8, you feel me? They call it a 10-8, and then like you can even see Sean Shelby in the fucking cage, like he was pissed, you feel me? And like, you know, it was what it was, you know. I think at the end of the day, they were kind of happy at the same time because they knew this is a big rivalry. It's a big fight. People are trying to say it's the female Figueiredo and like Moreno and stuff.
It can be. It really can be. If it could draw to 4 fights. I don't see why it wouldn't. Like Grasso deserves a fight. If it's a split decision, that means all 3 fights were competitive, and Grasso won 2 of them, no matter the outcome. Grasso won 2 of them. Shevchenko won 1. Why does it stop when Shevchenko wins? You know, that's the only way I see it.
Like, let me ask you this: like, if Grasso were to like to get it done, like, you know, at 3, like, say like she, I'm like,
choke her out.
No, I'm not knocking on wood, but like, say like, you know, I'm not even gonna say that shit, but say like whatever. You feel me? You know what I mean? Would she be a legend if she got it done the second time around?
I mean, what is Shevchenko like a top 3 women fighter of all time? I would. But
I think she's number 2 or number 1. You know,
like she's definitely top 3. And if Grasso could beat her 3 times when she's still at a really high, like I don't think Shevchenko looked bad or worse in either of those first 2 fights. I think the first fight she got choked out. It happens. Sometimes you're in a bad position. She wasn't expecting that from Grasso, and Grasso looked amazing in that first fight. And in the second fight, Shevchenko arguably won it. She just lost herself the fight, and you're like, it's not like a knock to lose yourself the fight. People make mistakes in the UFC. Sometimes all it takes is the other person just waiting to capitalize on it. You know,
of course.
It's not a knock to Shevchenko. It doesn't make her not the second greatest woman fighter of all time because she fucked up. Like everyone fucks up. Right, like John Jones needs someone in the head. He fucked up, you know. Like Khabib missed weight. He fucked up. Like people fuck up, bro. Like it happens. Charles lost his belt because he fucked up by missing weight. You're allowed to fuck up. You're allowed to fuck up in the UFC. It's not, you know. It doesn't take away what you've done or what you do. So that's my opinion on it.
I respect that. You feel me? I'm not just blowing smoke. I do respect that. You know, I just think when it comes to Valentina, bro, you know, a lot of dudes in MMA, you know, be going against the grain just for the sake of going against the grain. Sometimes, you feel me? Like, you know, it's like everyone, when Valentina lost her belt, everyone was like coming out the woodwork, just crapping on her. You feel me? And I'm like, yo, where's all this coming from? It's not Valentina was never boring. She was active all the time. She strikes. She does everything. She's never boring. So I'm like, why does everyone just want her to like just to lose all of a sudden, man? Like, come on. Like, it's not like, you know, in Israel, Israel had like a couple like whatever, boring title defenses you could say, like, because in my opinion, the whole Israel thing, like those dudes weren't being aggressive like that. Jared Cannonier tried to strike with him, like Marvin Vittori, like, you could tell he was nervous, you feel me? Like Costa wasn't ready. He knocked out Robert Whitaker, the second Whitaker fight was close, whatever. And like like Yoel Romero didn't do nothing until like the 4th round. So the point I'm saying is that like Israel was the man at one point. He was so the man. Like when he knocked out Whitaker the first time, and then he did his own celebration, even when he danced before knocking out Robert Whitaker. Israel was the man, you feel me? And then everyone just turned on Israel, you feel me? And like they tried to do the same thing to Valentina when her title, like all her title defenses were like super electric, like the Tyler Santos one, the Jessica Andrade one, like the Jessica I when she knocked her out with a head kick, like, all that kind of stuff. She's always been fun to watch, you feel me? She's always been active. Like Valentina has always been active, you feel me? So it's just people want to see this, and I get it, bro. It can be new and refreshing. Before I continue talking, gotta show love to my boy Anakin. Thank you so much for joining us, bro. Always love having you here, bro. Always love talking to you. One of my really good friends on here for sure, bro. Really good friend of the channel, always. And feel free to give your talking points, Anakin. I know you're really opinionated, man. So I love always going back and forth. But yeah, bro, we won't say too much on the flyweight division. I just wanted to say I really felt like a lot of people turned their back on Valentina Shevchenko, you feel me? And I get it, it's like that Toy Story meme, you get a shiny new toy, with a Grasso when you're dropping Woody, you feel me? Who's Valentina, you feel me? And everyone likes the cachet of Grasso. Like, don't get me wrong, I like her story. I've been watching her. She's a strawweight, you feel me? And she's like, the first ever female Mexican champion, like all that. She can die happy and all that, you feel me? Like, I'm happy for Grasso. She achieved her dream that she had since she was a little girl, you feel me? So how could I ever hate on that, It's just like, damn, you feel me? I really thought like everyone turned their back on Valentina, but not to keep going, who I think is going to be the champion by the end of the year. I'm going to say Ed New. I think, I mean, we had to wait a couple weeks for the card or whatever, but we're gonna, you feel me? I ain't going nowhere. I'm not changing my stance. It's been the same since the very beginning at 285. You feel me? Back in March of last year, and yeah, man. I'm not gonna say a name or whatever because I definitely want to still break it, break the fight down and stuff like that. But me, and New all day. I won't say who's gonna win it. You feel me? You got a pretty good guess, but that's it though. Who do you think might be the champion by the end of the year?
And still. All right, let's
move
into the men's.
All right.
Let's move into the men's flyweight division before we get too caught up.
Okay.
All right. Got too much time here today. Just so you guys know, we're probably going to split this into 2 parts. We're probably going to stop around the bantamweight or featherweight division because we both got some stuff to do. But we'll probably pick this back up on Friday. When we have some free time. If that works, we'll schedule it out. Probably put a post on here or on Twitter. But yeah, let's go into the flyweight division. I could take this one off. So right now, Pantoja, he definitely tweeted maybe a month ago that he was working on a contract for a fight. But the only thing we really have at the top of the division is Royval versus Tatsuro Taira.
Right.
That's probably just a number 1 contender fight. Maybe. It's not even guaranteed. I know Amir Abazi tweeted yesterday that he's getting a new fight coming up. I'm going to assume that's against Brandon Moreno because he hasn't fought in a while. I don't think Amir's going to be fighting down. There's no one really to fight down. Nicolau, I don't see him fighting Nicolau. I think it's Moreno. They're probably going to fight in MSG later this year. So that's just saying, like, if there is going to be a flyweight fight, it's going to be Pantoja versus Tai Asakura. That's my guess. I don't see anyone else for a title fight for him. We know that he's bantamweight, but he said in the UFC he's going to fight at flyweight. He's the former Risen champ. People probably know that. But that's my guess for the flyweight division. If that happens, if there's a fight this year, it's going to be that for the championship. Right. I don't know out of Moreno and Amir if that's confirmed. Kai Kara France, people are saying could get a title fight. Maybe it's Kai Kara France versus part 2. Maybe it's part 2 because that fight was definitely not as like that. No one thought Amir won that fight,
at all.
At all. So maybe they could do a part 2 for that. But Pantoja said he was in the works for a fight before Kai Kara France even had the win that he got. So that's just my opinion. What do you think for the flyweight division?
For the flyweight, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's gonna be hard for anyone to beat Alexandre right now, to be quite honest with you. Like, I think, like, you know, on his way up to the title, he really did a really great job of like rounding out his skill set. You feel me? I can't really think of, like, don't get me wrong, he's not like the best striker. You don't see him using like head kicks and stuff like that. But he does have good power. I do think he does hurt these guys when he does land. He's very aggressive when he walks forward. He has one of the best chins inside the UFC right now. 1000% he does. And yeah, man, I don't think any flyweight in the division is really like made for that grappling like he is, you know, as I pull up the division. I think it's gonna be hard for dudes to try to get it off, like, you know, get that belt off him, man. Like, for real. I've always liked his style. I do think he's arguably the greatest grappling flyweight you've ever seen. Like, how he'll transition when he hits the ground and how strong he is. We've seen him hold down bigger men all the time. It literally doesn't make a difference how like taller they are. But like, we're gonna see what happens with Tatsudo Taira and Brandon Royval. I do agree with Anakin when he does say that. I'm really, really intrigued what's going to happen with that. I think Tatsudo Taira, I'll say it here right now, I do think he is a future champion. It's no secret. It's really unfortunate, man, that they really cut Muhammad Mokaev, bro. Because I really, like, the whole time I was waiting for Tatsudo Taira versus Moka, and they were both going to be undefeated in the same age. And, like, that was just going to be awesome, man. And they could both grapple at a high level. So I really don't know, like, who was gonna win that fight, bro. Like, I really had that fight was just gonna be. It was so good. Like,
I think Mokaev will be back. He just signed to his old where he was before. I think it was Brave FC.
Yeah,
so I think he'll be back in the UFC. He's just gotta get some finishes. That's it.
Like, for real. And like Anakin has said the same thing. Like, you know, that really shows you that fight was honestly supposed to happen. That Alex Perez fight really pissed him off with Muhammad Mokaev when he was like shooting at the legs and stuff like that. I know he came out and said he was sick after that in the post-fight press conference, like literally when Michael Bisping had the microphone in his face. But at the same time, man, it's just like, damn, you know, all that behind the scenes stuff. Like when he said, like, he took a picture with Manel Kopp, and then he snuck him after, like, right when you see them like posed up together, right after that, he sucker punched him just to get close to him. Like, that's crazy, you know. Like, Manel Kopp could have, like, they could have turned the page right there. They could have been all good, you know. You could have just been, hey, man, I respect you a lot, you know. But like, he stuck to his morals, and like he just didn't, you know. He wanted to fight him. You feel me? I do agree with Nikki. I do think they will bring him back eventually. I think they want him to sit outside and mature for. Well, he's only 24. I think he'll come back. I think he'll be undeniable over there, undefeated, not 13-0. He'll be like 22-0 or something like that, and he would have already been here, you know. And I think they're gonna bring him back. He'll be unranked again. He's gonna have to give him a big name. And I do think he'll fight for the belt around like an older age. I think they just want him to mature. And yeah, man, like, you know, personality is one thing, but talent is another. Like, obviously not comparing the two at all. But obviously John Jones has given Dana White a lot of problems, a lot of messes to clean up as late as 2022. You know, for Jones, you feel me? And John's the heavyweight champion right now. You feel me? So I do think that, you know, money does talk. The UFC needs fighters from that region. I thought Mokaev was going to be headlining in Abu Dhabi from like the year 2028 on. I thought he was going to be like that face for the UFC. But to continue on with the flyweight division, if I had to say who the contender is going to be by the end of the year, I do think it will be Tatsudo Taira. I'm just really high on him. I think he can do it all. The striking is getting better. He's been had grappling, and he's 16-0, and he's making it look easy when he beats these dudes. So we'll see how the Royval fight goes. I think that's
that could strike, man, and he could stop a takedown. So it's going to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a tough fight for him. I think,
Right.
obviously it's his toughest fight yet, but not Moreno, Rafael's been getting even better and better with putting his combinations together. Like
I
it seemed like in that Moreno fight, he finally found how to put three
agree.
punches together and work off of it, So
Mhm.
I think that was a big turning point in his career for him.
And like the fact that he trains, I'm pretty sure he trains up in Denver. So like his gas tank is really, really good, And like he took that Mexico City main event on short notice at that, and he came in and picked up a major bag out of nowhere, So taking that number one, that shiny number one off Brandon Moreno. You feel me? Shout out to Moreno. We still love you, boy. Go ahead and heal up. Moreno's not going nowhere. Brandon Moreno's still 30 years old. You feel me? And like he's still one of the UFC's biggest stars even right now. Coming off 2 losses. So yeah, man, like with the flyweight. But if I had to end it for the flyweight division, again, man, like I think Tyra and Pantoja is a crazy title fight. I just think it's gonna be hard for anyone to out grapple Pantoja. They're not gonna be faster. They're not gonna be stronger. I just don't think that. I'd be shocked if I ever saw Pantoja get his back taken or like get submitted or anything like that. So, because no one's been grappling as long as he has. Like you can still, even like at 34 in the flyweight division, you can make the case he's still in his prime right now. So, I might go in still. But if it's not him, I do think it will be Tatsudo Taira, as like the next youngest champion in UFC history. At least by 26, 27, he will get that title 100%. I think he's better than Amir Albazi. I think he's better than like damn near all these dudes, and I think he's going to show that in like the Royval fight, and I'm really excited for that one. I'm moving on to bantamweight. Bantamweight, I'm really excited to talk about this one. We can end it on featherweight if you like, especially with that title fight we got coming up. That way we got the lightweight, the welterweight, middleweight, and the light heavyweight and the heavyweight for Friday. Just to answer Anakin's question right quick, I like him a lot, especially coming out of Ryzen. I know he's coming he's on like a 2-fight win streak right now. Kaya Sakura, he's 30 years old, so he is in the prime of his career, most definitely. He's 21-4. You feel me? So I think like when he beat Juan Archuleta, when he finished him like that, I thought like there's no way he's not about to go to the UFC right now. So I do like him a lot, Anakin. I think he'll be a player. I think they're trying to get him a fight. I don't know if they'll let him get the Yana Kunitskaya treatment and just come in and fight for the belt after not even fighting like a ranked contender. But he might, like he's obviously like the former Ryzen champion, real popular fighter over in Asia. Absolutely. So I think Kaya Sakura could definitely come in and be a player. 100%. Do you have any thoughts on Kyle Sakura? I mean, I got really a chance to watch
I
him.
haven't done too much. I know of him, but I haven't done research like watched him. I've never watched a fight from him, honestly.
Mhm.
I know of him.
Right.
I'm not going to speak down upon him because I don't like. He's the champ over there. He's coming over here. He's not demanding an instant title shot, but there's rumors that he deserves one, so I'm not going to knock him for it. So yeah, I'm just excited. I'm not going to be like, oh, he doesn't deserve it. Like, why not? He's fighting a division down. There's a line. There's definitely a line in the flyweight division now, but
Right.
nothing set in stone. There's been no number one contender shots. There's no interim titles. So it's fair game. He'll fight anyone if they give him the title shot. I don't because Pantoja's beat most of these dudes too at this point. He's
Literally, like
lapped the division. He's lapped some of these dudes. So yeah.
Yo.
But that's my thought. We could move on to the bantamweight.
Mhm.
Those are some good contenders too. Yeah, bantamweight is good. It's very stacked, very deep for sure.
I've always said it's like literally like the miniature lightweight division with how like stacked, like it's just something about that number, man. 135, like all these smaller guys. It's crazy. Because people always say the UFC offered an avenue for men who are 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", 5'7", to still be professional athletes. Obviously, it's extremely hard to go to the National Basketball Association or like the National Football League while being even under 5'9". So like not everyone's gonna be a Steve Smith senior, for the NFL and stuff like that. So I think that with this, with bantamweight being so stacked right now, they're lucky to have Sean O'Malley as the champion. You feel me? He's gonna have absolute movies in front of the world, being tested in the way that he is with his personality. I do think at this point in time, O'Malley has proven himself to be one of the greatest strikers in bantamweight history, 100%. Winning a belt the way that he has, he could lose it right now, and you could say he'll be a future Hall of Famer, having won it and defended it. Regardless or whatever. Of course, it's always good when you get multiple title defenses. That just ensures your first ballot UFC Hall of Famer. Like, regardless of whatever, like Leon Edwards is most definitely gonna be a UFC Hall of Famer, 100%. For the things he accomplished before he lost his crown, of course. And yeah, this is another good point by Anakin, as always. You feel me? Saying that Jose Aldo is still in his prime. We know that he's fighting Mario Bautista. I'm pretty sure that's at 307. So it's gonna be cool to see him like still try to come back and really like get it. And I do think they'll push Aldo, knowing he's a former champion and stuff like that. But to get to like the top 5 of the division right now, I do love it, to be quite honest. Obviously right now, Sean O'Malley has his championship is the next Ultimate Fighting Championship. So we're gonna see if he can keep his crown in a few weeks, in the Las Vegas Sphere. But how do you feel about the division right now? Like, I'm excited for Umar Nurmagomedov. Like, that's all I'll say.
Yeah,
right.
It's cool because you definitely we have this big fight, this huge fight. And after it's done, it's like Umar's going to be screaming for his title fight. It's undeniable. Figgy's very close to his title shot, too.
Literally.
Peter Yan versus Figgy, I think, is the fight to make. I think winner of that can arguably get a title shot. I think it's Umar, right? Like, I think Umar has made his case undeniable after doing what he did in that Corey Sandhagen fight. Merab, if he became the champion, he would say, whoever's next, I will fight, right? Sean, he's trying to become the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? Like, there's an agenda with Sean. He wants something out of this. He doesn't want to just beat everyone. He wants to do this in a way that's strategic. So with Sean O'Malley, if he wins his belt, he might ask for Jose Aldo because he knows Jose Aldo is not getting any younger. He could retire after his next fight again. Put the name on the legacy. And, it's smart what he's trying to do. He wants the best names available. He wanted to avenge his loss rather than beat the number 1 contender. As for, ending the year, who I think will be champ, I have no clue. That fight is so hard. I haven't, made up my mind on who I'm picking. I want to pick Sean, but it's hard to pick against Merab,
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good division.
It's crazy.
You got someone like Henry Cejudo who on a good night can be a champion again. You know what I mean? I think he should test. If he could make flyweight, go down to flyweight, though. I think he should go back down there if his body will let him. Mm-hmm. And then you got all these dudes just creeping outside. Like Song Yadong, he took a bad beating, but he's a really good fighter. It's an interesting division. And like I said, I think Umar's next. I think Figgy versus Yan is the fight to make. What do you do with Corey Sandhagen? I have no clue.
Man, that bro, I was even watching.
What do you do with him? What fight is there to make? He beat Rob Font.
He lost on.
I said they gave him a young prospect, someone like Kyler. Do you think Kyler Phillips deserves that jump?
I think he'd be Peyton Talbot.
You think he should fight or he'd beat?
I think it would be Peyton Talbot.
Oh, you think he'd be next?
If it would be anyone, it'd be a fight like that. Don't get me wrong. Peyton Talbot.
Big jump. He's just gonna be fighting dudes all the way at the bottom of the rankings and unranked. Figgy versus Yan would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah. But I think Figgy versus Yan is just even more. Yeah. I think that's the fight. Cheeto to Peyton Talbot. Yeah.
They could do that too. They could do that too.
Put some beat on him.
They could do that too. I agree. And see, the thing is, as soon as Sean gets done climbing this mountain, don't get me wrong, he's been sprawling for the last like 7 months getting ready for that take. Because like I just don't want Murad to go out there really like have his hands up like that and really try, because he's gonna have to get on the inside, bro. He has no choice but to shoot.
And Sean's angles are so good. I mean, he takes a step to the side, he's gonna throw a jab at your face. Like he's gonna hit. He's not gonna miss. He's gonna hit Murad. Murad's coming out of that fight beat up, win or loss. He's gonna look beat up in the press conference, man.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm really curious to see what approach he's going to take. It won't be as easy to get in on O'Malley as people think he is. I think he has amazing footwork. You feel me? He won't just use it to like dance around and try to like point. It's for the counter shot. He's like switching angles to like try to see what shot he can like hit you with and all that. And we saw Merab get hurt by Marlon Moraes, man. And like, I think O'Malley hits harder than Moraes does, you feel me? And for Sean, you can see, I'm really scared of that for Merab, and I think he's gonna really like shoot in and be so fixated on shooting in. And then this would be the fight where like everyone's like, okay, like Sean O'Malley would gain the respect, but right when you're done with this, you have to turn around and fight an undefeated Russian. You feel me? And not only is it an undefeated Russian, it's a Nurmagomedov. You feel me? A real one, like 18-0. He's really cut from that cloth. Like, he's barely had any adversity. You feel me? Inside of the octagon. You feel me? So I think they really want to give Umar the title shot 100%. I'm really excited for that. Last thing I'll say before I even get to the Umar point, Anakin's right about this too. Even a 37-year-old Henry hurt Merab in the first round. Yes, he did. And Sean has way better boxing.
Remember what Sean did to Cheeto, the knee to the head? I mean, all it takes is a teep kick or just a knee on the takedown. And and Sean's long, like that knee is going to cover a lot of distance.
Because with Sean, it's different because like he's long, like you say, but he knows how to use his reach. A lot of people don't really know how to. Like he's one of like the best strikers in UFC history at this point. You feel me? So, knocking out future Hall of Famers and like things of that nature. So like with this right now, I think it's more so because Sean's 29 years old, man. So it's like at this point, like. He could hold it for a while, man, if he really like. It's all about the Umar fight. If he were to beat Umar Nurmagomedov, bro, he's going to the stratosphere. You feel me? Like, and it's cool because like he's always talking about Conor this, Conor that. He's gonna get his fight, man. You're gonna get your fight, bro. You're gonna get your fight. Like, best believe it. Like Umar has a massive fan base. You won't see him talk shit or nothing like that. I don't think he's gonna talk trash like like his cousin did. I want to answer Anakin's question right quick. Do you think Corey versus Merab should happen if Merab loses? I think they could make it. I do think they want to get Corey damn near like a guaranteed win at this point. I think they really like Sandhagen. He's 32. You feel me? He could try to turn it around. It's just with and I didn't even finish my point about that. Sean O'Malley was on the Believe You Me podcast, and he said that excuse my French, like he said, fuck, I need a manager for like, managers fucking suck, and he said, look what happened to Corey. Like he was number 2 fighting like on like the verge of a title shot, and his manager told him, nah, yo, fight Umar. Like, it's a good fight for you. And he lost, and now he has to like at least do 2 more wins to get back to being in the driver's seat for a title shot. Because right now for Sandhagen, it's looking like he'll get that massive step up, but he'll falter. Like when even when he knocked down Marlon Moraes, it was what it was because we knew he had no chin. But then he had knocked out a 40-year-old Frankie Edgar. You feel me? And everyone, I'm not trash talking Corey Sandhagen, but I do think that like his skill set still had limitations to it. You feel me? Like even when he turned the corner after the Aljamain loss, some of those dudes weren't that good like that, So I think with Sandhagen right now, I just still think he has to just really like, just go back to the drawing board, man. Really like He'll probably take a lot of time off. I think that Umar loss really messed with him. You could even tell in the post fight there was no excuse he could have made. He just lost straight up. Like it wasn't like it was short notice. He didn't get it. Of course, he could have had any injury going in, and they're never gonna say that. You feel me? And like, yeah, I do agree with this too.
That could be from the shoulder injury though.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be like maybe he lost some motion, some range of motion or something.
Exactly. And like that's the thing, man. He's still one of those dudes in the division, 100%. Corey Sandhagen. His name still got a ring to it when you say it 100%. It's just I think even he wants to see where he really falls in the division now, you know. I thought when he got submitted by Aljamain Sterling like that, like yo, like in a minute and 28, because he was already the number 4 contender back then, you know, so he was already a pretty good fighter. You feel me? And that's when he knocked out, you know, a Marlon who has no chin, and he knocked out a 40-year-old Frankie Edgar, man. So, and then like of course he lost to Piotr Jan. That was on short notice. That was a great fight where he won 2 of those rounds out of 5. And then after that, you know, I was like, you know, it's the Rob Font, like the Cheeto fight. It was dudes who still might not be that good, you know, compared to like that higher top tier level. I think O'Malley would give Sandhagen problems. I think if they were being in the pocket, I think Sean would hit way harder than him. His footwork would give him, his feints would give him issues the whole time. It's just Sean's personality was throwing people off to him, and that's why I got a lot of respect for O'Malley, because like he has face tattoos, he smokes weed, like he does whatever he wants, and he's still a world class martial artist. 1000%, you know. So and yeah, man, not to go too long on the bantamweight. Like if I had to pick who I think might be the champion by the end of the year, I do think it will be Umar Nurmagomedov. I do think he'll just like, I think he'll get that belt, man. I think he has a great camp. He has the best camp in the UFC. You know, training with, you know, like those Dagestanis and the AKA and all that. Of course, the fighting nerds are on fire right now, but we saw what Khabib just did for Bilal Muhammad at the age of 36 years old. So I do think that with like training Umar, especially going into a title fight, I think it'll just be another level of cerebralness that he's yet to achieve. And at his age, I think Umar is like 28 right now. He's just now entering his prime. Same with O'Malley. Sean's in the dead middle of his prime right now at 29 years old. And he's barely taking any damage. So it's intriguing. And who do you think might be like the number 1 contender, like the champion, you think?
By the end of the year, it's probably still going to be Merab, right? Like, well, it depends. Whoever loses, you know, whoever loses probably stays. I don't think Umar jumps over whoever lost, right? So it's probably the number 1 contender still going to be whoever loses the title fight at 306. But like the next in line is listen. Aljo didn't get an instant title fight
for whatever reason.
I don't think Sean would get one if he lost.
I think he would. I think they love O'Malley. They
do like him. They do like him a lot more. But let's say he got like choked out. Does he? I don't know. It's weird. I think Umar should get the next title fight regardless. If Merab wins, are they gonna make it a rivalry? Going to be Sean versus Merab 2? Would Sean want to go 2 fights in a row against Merab? That sounds like personal hell. Win or lose, I wouldn't want to fight Merab twice in a row.
But I think it already is a personal rivalry. You know, he knocked out his best friend, man, you know, in front of him, in front of the world, bruh. So, like, even like.
Yeah, you're chopping a little bit.
Oh, damn. Crazy.
You're good now, I think.
Yeah, that's all good. If I'm lagging like this, we the bantamweight division. Hopefully, you can hear me.
I hear you're chopping up a little bit.
But yeah, yo, we could definitely end it on the bantamweight division. If I'm starting to lag a little bit, we're 50 minutes in anyway. So I hope you can hear me, like I said. Yeah. But yeah, y'all. Hopefully y'all can see me. I want to give a special thanks to everyone that joined the chat this afternoon. Again, join us on Friday. Hopefully you can hear me.
He's lagging a little bit,
For our
guys, but
next
if you can't hear, we're gonna go back on Friday. We don't know what time, probably around the same time, depending on our schedule. If not, follow us on Twitter at MMAHOLICS, and we'll post an update of when we're gonna go live. We appreciate everyone coming in here, talking to you guys. Anakin, we had Tai, all you guys in here. We appreciate it. Hope to see you guys back on Friday, and thank you guys.
Of course, thank you.